Hello. You have just tuned in to the first official episode of the Live from the Pots podcast. And I am one of your hosts, Miss Terry Partee, also known as P2.
And I am the man of the show, Tim Partee. Call me P1. We're about to bring y'all in on some real things with this broadcast. Welcome.
Welcome.
Today we're going to discuss the matter of the perception in the mind of us out here today in our generation of culture. We just want to bring awareness to the subject matter at hand.
So, have you ever been in a situation where you have this scenario that got you so upset, and depending on how the scenario, how it play out, you might feel justified to be angry. And so you go and you talk to people about it. You tell your friends, you tell your family, you even talk to strangers. You just, because you know how it be when you feel like somebody got you messed up and you ain't do nothing wrong. You gotta go tell everybody about it. So, and everybody be like, oh yeah, you right to be mad. And then they be like, oh, it'll never be me. And then they tell you, oh, this is what I would do if it was me. And it's a revolving door of bull crap, and maybe, just maybe, you might run into someone who can shed light on this situation for you, to help you look at it in a different way, and to help you see where you might actually be the one wrong. This is where your perception come in, right? So, even if it don't stick though, and a lot of times it don't, somebody come and tell you the real way to look at it, but you still, cause the odds way out for you, and because it look good for you to be mad, or whatever the odds look like, because the good way you tell the story. You got people like, you're right. So even when you get that one person to tell you about how you wrong, you don't care about that.
Right.
You don't care about that.
Right.
And so, not to keep on pondering on that part, but the thing is, we have to be careful about how we look at things.
Right.
Because the way we look at things, whether we know it or not, it has a lot of control. It controls the way we do in our feet, in our motion. It controls our actions. And so that's why the first thing we want to talk about is the power of perception.
Magnificent.
You got some, P1?
Yeah, so the reason we have to be careful with our perception is because we always want to remind ourselves that we need to remain accountable at all times. And the reason being is your accountability is directly combined with your success. You will find out in a lot of, studies from people whom are very successful, have everything together, that they are very accountable people. And if we want results out here to win, if we want to shine, we have to remind ourselves that we must stay accountable. So we're going to talk about some situations that go on in our communities today that deal with our perceptions being under attack. And one being our relationships.
So I can start off with my own personal example of a time when my perception should have been better, but it definitely was not. And so it led to other things, but I'm just finna dive right on in. So, me and my husband, we've been together for going on 15 years in August.
15?
We'll be married 7 years in August as well.
Ooh, that was the wrong sound.
Wow, you mad, baby? You don't want to be married to me?
No. This is a new broadcast, everyone. I'm trying to get familiar with the boys over here.
So, Yeah, but like I said, okay, so well, like I said, get diving right in. So my scenario, me and my husband been together 15 years, married almost 7. So with that being said, when we first got married, we didn't have a lot of positive influence around us, if any. And so we was raggling. And everything didn't start off all beautiful and glorious, and it's not all beautiful and glorious now, but it's definitely better.
Definitely.
And so the thing is, we got married, and it's just what the communication was flawed. It was a lot of things flawed, and so my husband, he started stepping out on me.
Yep.
He was stepping out on me. And I was, at first, I'm like, oh, I'm just going to be a good wife. I was 24 years old. So I'm like, oh, I'm just going to be a good wife. I don't care. I'm going to pray about it. And I'm going to just go to work. And I'm going to come home. And I ain't going to be, I'm not going to be argumentative. And I'm going to, I just thought to myself that I was doing everything right.
Right.
And so, moving right along, he cheated. I found out my feelings was getting hurt. And so my perception told me to get back. And I got back. And when I got back, I end up putting my foot up my own behind.
Irony.
And see, that just goes back to, the story that you tell yourself is very important. The story that you tell yourself is very important, because I told myself that the proper thing to do in that situation was to cheat back on my husband. And a lot of people probably listening and saying, yeah, you did right, because woo, 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 and woo, woo, woo. But, after being a cheater, myself, I really came to find out that a lot of times the person who is cheating in a relationship is not always the person who is wrong. It's not always the aggressor.
Wow.
So it's very important to just, be able to look at the situation for what it really is.
Strange block
instead of, running around, being emotional like a child, because relationships are grown folks' business. Having children, that's grown folks' business. And we run around, we treating all this grown folks' business like it's recess.
Right.
And that's horrible.
Right. Well, so I'm sure the story that she just shared with you all, we all have similar stories in hand. To piggyback off of that, when I started making the decisions I made as a newlywed, they definitely weren't new decisions. I was already moving that direction in my life anyway. I had a filthy perception myself for years, and as adversity approached me inside of the relationship, I didn't know how to handle them. I wasn't confident enough to make the proper decisions needed to make to actually fix the problems that were going on. So I ran. I took my tail and I stepped out. And my flawed, ill perception jump-started her flawed, ill perception. And that's how that works all the time. It's like clockwork. You have to be careful with the story that you tell yourself. You have to get in front of that. You have to state your problems right beside you. Put your boxing gloves on, get in the ring and fight. You must always use a proper way of thinking as you move forward. You got to do that, man. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to go the wrong way. You know what I'm saying? So that's how that thing got itself together.
And you definitely don't want to go the wrong way. And one thing that I want to add, when you putting, when you trying to build a right perspective and tell yourself the right story, understand that the main character in your story is always going to be you.
Correct.
It is always going to be you. So me doing what I did, it turned out to not even be about my husband.
Correct.
It was about me. I found out things about myself in that situation that I didn't even know. I was exposing myself when I felt like I was, I'm just getting my lick back, or or I was telling myself, this how he want to be in this relationship.
Right.
So this just how I'm gonna get down. And honestly and truly, at some point, my husband, he stopped getting down, and I was still getting down.
See how that worked?
And because my perception, and I kept on, and see, one thing we'll go in autopilot.
Right.
So once when I got it going and I kept it going, it wasn't no going back. See, like at one point in my relationship, I was always happy. I was happy because I was the one who could say I'm not the cheater. So I feel like, right, just because I'm not cheating, that I'm the good one in a relationship. But it was a lot of other things that I did not give myself credit for doing, that was, maybe condoning in, the idea of him wanting to step out. Right. And I'm not saying that it's my fault that I was cheated on, because those were his feet that did it. But what I am saying is that, when you with somebody, you definitely can influence the way they feel and the way they do things, But back to the moral, it's still like you. It's still you. And really, I'm not going to say like the best thing for me to do in that situation was to leave my husband when I found out he was cheating. But I definitely didn't have to cheat back. Right. Really what we be doing, we try to avoid just having real conversations.
Right.
And that's what we want this podcast geared around, having real conversations, because that's the only real answer key to anything, is to have the real conversation.
Right. That's all you have. So, I wanted to kind of dose this off and to get about, how when we're having this conversation, how men and women can definitely complicate things. I feel like men, we have to go back to being leaders, becoming the model that you want your family to reflect. So we have to start off with honor. And with that honor, you have to think about the way you want your house to stand still and stand strong, and be able to withhold just the simplest rainfall, man. And it starts off with you being honest with yourself. And the more honest you can be with yourself, you have no problem being honest to your spouse, to your children, anyone for that matter. It sounds difficult, but it's a real simple thing to do. Once you start doing it, it becomes contagious, becomes a part of your DNA code. If we can start being more honest to ourselves, we'll start being more honest to our situations. With that, you're going to watch your footing. You're going to watch the things you do. You're going to watch the interest that you put yourself into. You're going to start to flow differently. You're going to start to move differently. Everyone's going to see a different look on you, man. Once you start to become an honest person. Mm-hmm. You have to be an honest person to be a respectable adult. You can't respect anything that isn't honest, right? So it's only at that point where your spouse will mimic that. Trust will start to blossom and bloom. And then all of a sudden, here you go. You got a nice little couple sitting over here doing their thing. Everybody around you may be like, I'm not sure where they are, but that's not their business. It's all about what you all are accomplishing together. You have to heal. Get your feelings in check. Get your emotions in check. If you need a doctor or whatever the case may be, if you need to talk to people from your past to get over things, you must handle it and take advantage of it, because your life weighs in the balance, man.
Yeah, that's a whole nother podcast. with being healed and all that, because that is definitely a serious component. Because if you are walking around with the mess on you from your first relationships, which are the relationships that you come out of the house with, whether it's your mother and your father, or just your mother, or just your father, or just whoever raised you, that is your first relationship. And that's the relationship that train you to go out into the world. And a lot of times, they not so good.
Right.
With these, you know, with the generation, you know, that we come from and moving forward, like, and it's just getting worse with time.
Oh, most definitely. It's definitely getting worse with time, because all the pressure is building up every generation, man.
Yeah, and this don't have nothing to do with, look, it do, because, man, the perception, oh my God, like, when you, like, your perception is everything. Your perception is everything. The way you see things, that, like, that's the beginning, that's the end all and be all sometimes, you know?
Right.
Like, if you don't have a proper perception, like, how can you win?
Right.
How can you win?
Like I said, guys, it's very important with the story that you tell yourself. You always want to give yourself the best chance. Think of it like this: when you tell yourself a story about your life, you want it to be a proud story. You want to be proud with the way you maneuver through that story. It's not going to always be a sweet story.
And even if it's not proud all the way through, at least it can be a real one.
It won't be per se. It will on the level of your perseverance, right? It won't be a peaches and cream story, but it'll be a realistic life story of battles that you went through and won. That's a proud story to tell yourself.
Well, yeah.
And you can't have that.
Perseverance that's a win every time.
If you blame someone else for everything that you get wrong in your life, or everything that's just definitely happened to you, you won't be proud of this story. That's victim. That's victimship.
And adults don't want to be bask in victimhood.
Don't want to do that.
Stupid.
That's a prison for yourself.
And that's not a win. That is not a win.
And there's nothing you feel proud of. You feel like a scared child once you claim victimhood, man.
And don't nobody want to be around it. Not nobody with their mind right.
Hey.
No, look, you gonna run people off.
Hey, most definitely. That's how they work, man. You gotta take advantage of your life itself. If you won't fight for you, why would you want anyone else?
Say that.
You gotta fight for you. Your perception is everything, man. The story you tell yourself is very, very wonderful. Think about it as think of it as a book. Think of your life as a book. Think of your life as a movie. Once you watch it, if it's not interesting, if it has no highs in it, a lot of people don't like movies like that, where it's always just drama, death, drama, rape, savagery.
Hey, some people do. And if you're one of those who just love that kind of drama movie, go ahead and just let that be what you let it be. But for people who feel like, man, I'm tired of losing, and they tired of, things not working out, whether it's your relationship, your job, or just your personal feelings about yourself, it starts with the story you tell yourself.
Oh, yeah.
And the story that you tell yourself should always be an honest story.
Oh, always. You want to be able to, hey, how shall I say this? You want someone to love you for you.
And another thing I just want to put out there. Adults need to stop using the lingo fair. Ain't nothing fair. It just is what it is out here. It really is. And like, once you learn that, then you start moving accordingly. It's not about being fair. It's just about, your feet doing what they supposed to be doing.
Oh, yeah.
Period.
Oh, yeah. Period. Hey, you know what I'm saying? Like, check it. If using the word, that's for children who, for great reasons, children don't run shit. They don't run things. So in order to get that cookie off the top of that shelf, and you tell them no, and they can't use a ladder, to them that isn't fair. But for better reasons, they can't have cookies all day long. They can't have cookies before breakfast. So they're going to claim that's not fair. And children can do that because children don't understand. Children are at a disadvantage when it comes to power in this world. And when it comes to adults in this world, you have all the opportunities to gain all the power that you need. Will you do it though?
Will you do
You can't claim fair when there's an open field. If there's an open field,
for you to go and move your feet and do your work.
Hey.
Why are you using the lingo fair? Why does it matter to say
Get
fair?
that out your solar system.
And guess
man.
what else? It is fair. You ain't even know it is fair.
Yeah. The seeds that you planted.
Hey, baby, it's yours.
Come on now.
It's yours. That's your little baby.
Come on now. That should nurture that. If you can admit that and nurture the fact and become one with the fact that, you know what, I screwed up. I made some bad decisions. I made terrible choices. I bet the more you tell yourself that you're going to watch the next ones that you do, and you'll be able to help someone else. You'll be able to get yourself healed. It's okay to take that L.
It's okay.
Adults take L's every day, but they're working so hard and they're pushing hard so forward. They're pushing forward so hard that those L's don't matter. I get my L, I take my L, but I keep pushing for my W.
And your L's, they make you stronger.
Of course they do. If you never had an L, how would you know what a win looks like?
Man. Hey. But a lot of us, we so scared out here.
Petrified of the fact that
We so worried about how other people looking at us.
that perception.
What everybody thinking about us. And this is, I want to say this a woman thing, but it's getting widespread to where men goofy like that too. We care
definitely.
too much about what people think.
Yeah, most definitely.
We care about too much about what the wrong people think.
Yeah, so bold, strong male influence is becoming a thing of the past. Definitely, we need to get our perceptions in check so that we could.
But we definitely got that black girl magic going.
We
got that going strong.
But you
baby.
know what?
That
I
ain't
believe
gonna
that
go
magic,
nowhere.
will dissipate until make believe when our brothers stand up and be men the way that we know that we can be. We have brothers being men, but the quote unquote manhood movement, it's kind of individualized. You know what I'm saying? One thing sisters do well, it may not bring a lot of, shall I say, family results, but they stick together.
We create the illusion that we stick together.
Okay,
but
sister.
women, we are very, very, very catty, very messy. We are very cutthroat. As I'm getting older, I'm learning that about us. And I'm gonna be honest as well. Like a lot of y'all making it hard for the men.
Oh.
A lot of y'all making it hard, especially these 30-year-old women who still want to act like they 22.
Oh, man.
Fine, look.
Oh, man. Oh, man. What you trying to do, baby?
I'm just saying, baby.
Look, so if we can get our means to rise above the household once again, get in check, get in line, get his business together, get his affairs straight, I promise you, man, the women won't have any choice but to follow you. I myself understand this code. I myself find myself, it's a daily job working on myself, soothing myself, honing in on myself. You have to let iron sharpen iron. You know what I'm saying? I'm getting my things together. Me doing what I'm doing, producing this right here, right now. Hey, what you think this look like?
I really, really like what you're saying, but back to my ladies. Like, as an adult, you control your feet. So, like my husband said, when men start leading, then women will get on track. Like, a lot of y'all need to be in position for when the men do start getting ready to leave. Like, a lot of women are not even willing. And a lot of us dumb, we think it. We so goofy, but we think we know everything. And we be needing that man.
Oh yeah.
It's okay to need your man. I don't hear men running around talking about how they can't stand a female and they don't need them.
Oh no.
But I hear the women all the time, and it's like an oxymoron because y'all always talking about one, always want one, but you don't need one. You know, like if you want them, then quit talking about what you don't need.
Hey.
You know, because that part, you know, that make the situation toxic.
Oh, that most definitely happens. And you do have brothers that, you know, you got it from both sides that spit that rhetoric about not needing, but it's definitely more so on the side of the women. You know, the question that poses a threat, ladies, is what are you gonna do when you run up to a guy with his affairs together? And I'm gonna tell you how he did that. He's not gonna pay you any attention, but the reason and how he got to where he got, I bet you that man has a I bet his perception is in check. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do when you've been telling yourself the wrong story for so many years, and that guy finally gets his ass up and believes in himself and start to make moves? What are you gonna do when he decides to leave out on you? What you gonna do?
Because a lot of y'all in a relationship because y'all just, you know, letting a man with no confidence lay up under you.
Yeah.
But all you gotta do is get some confidence, and then you will be a thing in the past, like
See
my
that?
baby just said.
See that? Do you want that? Do you want to be a thing of the past? Now add that to your story. But what if you could be the one of the future? You see what I'm saying? And the way that guy's going to get up off his ass and believe in himself is because he told himself the correct perception one day. He got up and said, man, you know what? Even though she nagging at me about these affairs and situations and shit like that, you know what? It's not cool. It's not cool. I know she coming foul and sideways and moving and making weird decisions on me, but you know what? I do need to get my shit together. And he tells himself, I should have been had this straight. I should have been had this in check. And he get up and he actually do it.
Because guess what? I'm sorry, baby. I ain't mean to cut him off. But when you were just talking about the dude who what you say, she is cheating on me. She is woo 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 woo. If he take with the power of his perception, if he take that story and he run with the fact that she did do him wrong, guess what? The next female is right around the corner to do him wrong again. Because he's not changing what he's doing with his feet. You know, it's something that you doing that's letting you be that type of person that be in those situations, and those are the type of truths that we don't want to face.
Right. Exactly. That's the problem. You know what I'm saying? We have to make sure that we're telling ourselves the right thing, man. That guy's going to get up, man. You said what you said about him. He checked it. He probably believed in a lot of what you said. He probably agreed with you. And he went up, got his ass together, and in less than a year, the boy got his business straight. Then he looks over at you and he sees lacking. What do you want him to look at and think? Now that he has a different perception, guess what he expects from you now? And the question is, can you weigh up to that? You can't use what he was last year no more, baby. He up now.
Can't.
He up.
I tried that before.
He up. That man ain't up. You down. What you gonna do? The sad story ain't gonna work. He's gonna remember how hard you were on him.
Fix your perception, babe. Let's put it.